Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and we have a fun project for you today. Sarah's in the house, and she always comes up with something cool. So pop in, say hi, let us know where you're from, and did you have a great weekend? I think officially everybody's going back to school. All my nephews are already playing football. Summer's officially over, but not in our house. As long as it's like 70 degrees out, it's summer to me. So say hi. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and we're live in the chat today. So even if you're watching the replay, let us know. All right, let's bring up Sara Vetser, Brother Educator. How are you, Sara?
I'm good. I am sad summer is over, but life goes on.
I feel like it's not, though, because it started so cold that I feel like it's still kind of summer. But I don't have kids back in school. Otherwise, I would know it's over. But that's okay. So, by the way, the last time you and I were on together was when we were in Austin. We pre-recorded, and then we were in Austin for all the new products for Brother. So I just have to ask, do you have a favorite new product that came out?
I do love the Celeste. I love that they put the ISR feature on that machine. I think that is amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe we were talking about this last week, and I can't believe all the feet that they put in with the Celeste sewing version. I was floored. I mean, that's more feet than I've ever seen on any machine. I mean, if you love to sew and you love to quilt and you want to mess with couching and you want the Move It foot, it came with all 5 feet for the Move It foot. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's a dream. And those feet can get pricey when you start adding them on. So having them all in the box for you, so fun.
Priceless. And by the way, I saw a couple people asking last week in the chat that you were trying to buy some other feet. They have the Avenir, and they were trying to buy the other 2 feet they didn't know they didn't have. So just call your Brother dealer. If it works with a digital dual Move It foot, it will fit your machine on the Avenir. So, all right, Sara, I'm excited for today. I've already seen a sneak peek, and those flowers are gorgeous. So tell them what we're doing.
So the theme today was upcycling using PrintModa. And I, of course, love upcycling. So my wheels were spinning. I had 100,000 ideas, but I narrowed it down to one. So we're going to make some custom fabric, and we're going to upcycle an old t-shirt, give some new life.
I can't wait. And if you haven't seen Sara's past episodes, she is the queen of upcycling and the queen of gardening. So you got both queens on you.
Definitely.
All right, I'll let you take it away.
Perfect. So I started with a t-shirt that I actually got at a clothing swap. If you haven't heard of a clothing swap before, I think they're getting more popular. It's basically people all agree to bring clothing that they don't want from their closet anymore, and you just trade clothing with each other. So it's completely free. And we have a lot of them up by me, upstate New York. So I found this t-shirt at a clothing swap, and it had a lot of life left in it, but it was a little plain. So we're going to rework it or upcycle it using some custom fabric that we're going to print with the PrintModa. Here she is. So let's start with the Artspira app. I have it right here so you guys can take a look. So we're going to go straight into new at the bottom of the screen and printing, and we're going to go to the design editor. So let me show you the t-shirt actually a little bit so you can have a little bit of context. I started the reworking process already for the sake of time because it does take a little bit of time to sew on all these little flowers, but here is the shirt. So all the flowers and everything, basically the shirt just had California on it, and I've been adding all these other goodies to it. So California is the theme, and one of the things that comes to mind immediately when I think of California are California poppies, which are these beautiful orange, kind of like a marigold color flowers that are native to the California area. So I went online, I looked for California poppy photos, and for me, because we're doing this with Brother, I made sure that they were license free. So I'm able to use them for free. For you, if you're at home, if you're making something for yourself, I would say you don't have to worry about that too much. If you're selling something, make sure that the photos you're using and you're printing are not licensed, okay? Just an FYI.
That is, I'm so glad you mentioned that. First, I got to go back though. When I think of California, I think of the beach. I love those flowers. So that is amazing. So that was a great tip though, because I know a lot of people on here are adding to their brother family room, I should say, with the scan and cut and the sublimation printer and PrintModa. And you can take a lot of photos and send them over. But if you're selling them, it's really important that they're either your photos or they're license free. So that's a great tip there, Sara.
Yes, and most search engines do have a filter, so you're able to filter out any photos that have licenses. So that makes it really easy to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Yep, perfect. All right, back to you.
Okay. So design editor, we're using the PrintModa, so we're going to go under the fabric roll header, and I'm going to use a custom size today. So because the PrintModa works by printing on a roll of cotton fabric, and I'll show that to you guys here, we're able to print up to 3 yards at once. So this is our modified printer tray, and this is our roll of cotton fabric in here. So it comes on a 5-yard roll, and you can print up to 3 yards at once. So instead of having to print individual 8.5 by 11 sheets, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to print about 24 inches of fabric here and just fill it up with all my photos. And that way I can make the images really large so that they're really impactful on the shirt, and I don't have to kind of squeeze them all in on individual pages. So I loaded this back in. You just unroll it until it reaches the back, pop the tray back in. The roll of fabric has a plastic backing on it, which is really helpful because when it feeds through the machine, you can be sure that there won't be any bumps or wrinkles in your print. And the fabric is already pre-treated to accept the inks. It does work with regular inkjet ink. Let me take the app down really quick. So these are my inkjet inks in here. So if you have a color printer at home, these probably look really familiar to you. And the fabric roll that comes with the PrintModa and that's compatible with the PrintModa is treated to accept inkjet inks and lock those colors in. So all you need to do, you don't need to pre-treat, you don't need to treat the fabric afterwards, just print it, let it dry for 15 minutes. Then the ink will dry, it will set in, and you'll be ready to use it in your project. So very easy the way that it's set up. You only have to be on the same wireless network on your phone or your tablet that you're using Artspira on, and on the machine for them to be able to talk to each other. All right, anything else I missed? I know I talk about the PrintModa a lot. I want to make sure that we're clear. Again, it's cotton fabric. So Brother also has a sublimation printer. That is a really fun printer as well, but it only prints on polyester. So cotton fabric with the PrintModa, sublimation is polyester. I am typically partial to polyester when it comes to, cotton. I'm partial to cotton when it comes to something that I'm going to wear. So a t-shirt that I'm going to be wearing, I definitely prefer to have cotton. It's breathable, it's softer, it's pliable, it's lightweight. This is kind of a quilting weight cotton. So
look at how beautiful that flower is. I mean, that looks like it's going to jump right out of the camera.
Very, very vibrant colors. Yeah, love it.
It's beautiful. I'm glad you pointed out both different printers because they are different. And I would love to know in the chat, do you have the PrintModa? I know a lot of people bought that printer right when it came out and they're loving it. I don't use it all the time, but when I have a project where I'm thinking I want to customize this, it's immediately what I go to. And I'm with you. I'm a big cotton person, although I use the sublimation printer all the time for like my mugs and my sewing mats and all that stuff. But for clothing, I'm with you on the cotton.
Exactly. They're both amazing. Like you, I use both of them a lot. But for certain things, the PrintModa is perfect. For other things, the sublimation, they're good for different projects, definitely.
Definitely.
All right. So, okay, back to the app. Sorry, I keep jumping back and forth, but I want you guys to understand these lovely tools that we're using. So again, we can print up to 3 yards. So I'm going to change the height here. The width stays the same because that's the width of the printer. You can't make the printer any wider. And the length, I'm going to say 24 inches. And now I have a beautiful 24 by 12 inch printing area. And I'm going to go ahead and add in those photos that I found of the California poppies. They're all saved to my device. And the Artspira app can access any of the photos that are saved to my device. So I'm going to go to Image, Camera Roll. Here are all my photos. And I'm just going to drop in a picture. Now, when you tap on the photo, you can see the little blue bubble that came up at the top. That's telling me how big this image is. So it is really big. It's 14 inches tall, and that would take up most of our shirt. You can go ahead and print something 14 inches tall. I think for my purposes, I'm doing kind of a collage type of layout here where I'm overlapping things. That's too big. I think I want it to be about 7 inches. So I'm just pinching. I'm pinching with my fingers to make it bigger or smaller. And then I'm just taking a look at the blue bubble at the top. And so we're getting close, 7.5. And if you'd like to be really precise, you can go down to the layout tool at the bottom. And there you have your height and your width. Those two numbers are going to be locked. So that means the proportions are locked. You can unlock those if you want to just change the height or just change the width. But if you want the picture to stay in proportion and not look wonky, you're going to keep the proportion locked. So in the position that it is now. And then if you want to be precise, you can go ahead and type in height, 7 inches, done. It resizes it for you to exactly 7 inches in height. Now I want to do a second one of these. So let's go ahead and use the ellipsis tool. This is a newer feature that was added and we love it. We love a duplicate tool, right? So that is what we're going to do. So the circle with the 3 dots, the ellipsis tool, I'm going to tap it. Now we have multi-select and duplicate. I'm going to tap duplicate. We can duplicate by number of items, or we can go ahead and use the tile feature, which will evenly duplicate and place and arrange all your duplicates in your printing area. So this is an awesome tool that was added, super, super useful. I'm just going to use number and I'm going to make the number 2. So now I have 2 of that same photo and I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to make the second one a little bit smaller. And I'm just tapping and dragging. Let's add some more images. I really like this one here. I printed a few of those. I'm going to leave it super big. Let's add another one. I like this one, which has like a bunch of different flowers in there. I'm rotating it just using my fingers, but you can, again, use the layout tool to rotate it. You can flip it, mirror image. So I'm going to duplicate that one. Ellipsis, duplicate to 2. And then I'm going to use layout and flip. So now it's mirrored. That gives it a little bit of a different look. So you can just pick as many photos as you want to print, lay them out in your printing area, and then send it over to the printer. It's going to print out on that cotton material. You'll let it dry for 15 minutes. The inks will set in. And as you guys saw, even though like these are really dark, saturated, there's a lot of colors in these photos, and the printer just does so well with that. I have pre-printed this so that I made sure everything was dry and we could use it. And let's see. But I'll just show you some pieces that I did not cut out yet. So you can see how they kind of compare to the images on the screen. Really dark colors, vibrant.
Wow. Those, I'm in shock. I'm looking at how deep the colors are. Even the black outer area. Those are gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, it does so well. So super happy with that.
It turned out so good.
Yeah. So, and again, we can get them really large scale. So these are huge. And I have extras. I printed about 2 different pages, and I just did all different sizes, and then you can cut out, you can layer them together. So let's take a look at my shirt. So after these printed, again, I know I've said this 2 or 3 times already, let it dry for 15 minutes. The inks will set in. Then you're going to peel it away from the plastic backing, and your fabric is ready to be cut up and used. So on the table here, I just want to show you how the flowers kind of look after I cut them out. You don't have to do it perfectly. I mean, the black background really lent itself to this project because my t-shirt is a really dark gray. So even if I have a little gray edge or green or a black edge there, it kind of blends into the t-shirt. So that worked out pretty well. But I would just say, you know, if you're going for this type of look that's kind of collagey and things are layered over themselves, I wouldn't stress too much about cutting out the flowers perfectly. You have a nice little section down here. So again, I just took, and I pre-cut these. I started stitching them because I didn't want you guys to have to sit here while I cut out every single little flower. But hopefully it's clear. Like this one, I think came right from this photo here. So even though I have all that green background, you're able to just cut really close into the flowers and get all these little parts that you can just layer together. So some other supplies that you might want for this, definitely some spray adhesive. This is really helpful. I also have the adhesive stick, the glue stick, which I love because it's like being a kid again, using a glue stick for your craft.
I'm cracking up. I'm like, yes. Okay, wait, I'm supposed to be small. You're big. I was cracking up. I just found a whole box of glue sticks. I bought them, I think, probably during one of your last live shows and forgot where I put them. And I found them. Perfect timing.
Amazing. Yes. So now you can do this project. So because we're going to be free motion quilting these on, it's super helpful to have them really glued in place. So it's just one less thing you have to worry about moving around while you're stitching. So I used a combination of the spray for the bigger items, the glue stick for the tiny little guys here, and I just layered them all, glued them in place, and then we'll take it over to the machine to free motion quilt it. And my last tip is back your garment with stabilizer. Okay, this, I wasn't even going to attempt this without putting stabilizer on because this is one of those really soft, nice t-shirts that's a nightmare to sew on because it's so soft and so stretchy. And this is the type of material that's going to get sucked right down into your machine. Right, Angela?
Oh, yeah. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
And I'm sure that I can imagine everybody's already asking before I do. Are you using embroidery soft stabilizer or are you using garment fusible stabilizer? What stabilizer are you using on the back?
Yeah, I'm using embroidery stabilizer. I do embroidery all the time, so I have a lot of it. And I went with a medium weight cutaway. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely stay away from tearaway because we're doing basically a single stitch all around. And I really don't like using tearaway with single stitch because it pulls at those stitches. And the general rule of if you wear it, don't tear it, meaning if you're wearing the garment or the project that you're working on, you don't want to use tearaway, you want to use cutaway. So I went for a medium weight cutaway because this is, again, really flimsy, thin material, and I really want some body. One, to support the stitches, and also so that I have something to like grab onto and move around easily when I'm free motion quilting.
That's a great idea. I love that. So thanks for answering that, because I know that question was coming up.
Of course. Yes, very necessary. You may have also noticed that I did open up the side seam here. Did I hate every second of this seam ripping process? Yes, I did. But I did it anyway because it really made my life easier to be able to move the back of the shirt away. I, again, used my spray adhesive to just adhere the whole front of the shirt down to my stabilizer on the back. So I have a really nice, solid, movable piece of fabric here that's going to stitch out really nicely.
It really looks great.
Thank you. And then I do have a really great way to sew up the side seam that I'm excited to tell you guys about later. So this is not a problem. Even if you don't have a serger, I'm going to tell you how you can sew this back up really well so that no one will ever know that you opened the side seam.
Perfect.
So last part that I want to kind of work on here is this little corner. So I left that blank so that we could kind of do it together here. So I have another big flower. I'm not sure. I think this is maybe too much. I think I want to go with some smaller ones, potentially adding on to this kind of postcard photo up here. And again, I don't want to get too close to the side seam because the shirt's going to start wrapping around once it's on a body. So I might just scooch this over. And maybe one right down at the bottom. I think that'd be pretty.
Oh, that looks good. Very, it's not really symmetrical is probably not the word I'm looking for, but it's very cool.
Yeah, thank you. It's like very collagey. What did you say?
Collagey, that's the word, collagey.
That's kind of my go-to style. I don't know if you remember me doing the free motion carrot bucket hat, but
oh yes, yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Everyone loved that project, and it was very, like, my free motion stitching is very sketchy and kind of hand done. So that's definitely the style that I prefer. So I'm using my temporary glue, targeting the edges of all these little flowers because those are going to be the first thing to lift up. And then placing it and giving it a good press. All right. So we have these to stitch down. I have one flower in the corner here that I did not stitch yet. And then this one that we added at the bottom of the hem. So over at my machine, I'm going to show you how to turn on the free motion quilting. So very easy. I'm in utility stitch. Let's go ahead and start from the home screen. So home screen, I'm working on my Luminaire today, and I'm going to select sewing. And right off the bat, I have my machine set to the straight middle stitch. That's my preference for sewing. And you are able to select where you want the machine to start. So I have this set as my default. The only thing you need to do from here is go into your settings, which is this icon at the top right-hand corner, underneath the home icon. You open that up, and the first key is your free motion setting. You tap it, it's going to turn blue when it's activated. And then the other thing you'll notice is that my presser foot suggestion changed to O. That is the free motion quilting foot. And that is all there is to it. Your feed dogs have dropped down. Your machine is aware you're doing free motion. It's switched to the O foot. And now just put your O foot on your machine and you're good to go. All right, Angela, can you take my camera down for a moment so I can reposition?
I sure can. And actually, I was just going to pop in anyways. I would have to say, Sara, when I get a lot of emails, people asking different questions, especially, you know, if they're in the master class and they're wondering, hey, how do I do this certain thing? The main question I get for every single machine, Luminaire, Stellaire, Avenir, is how do I lower the feed dogs? Because on some of the other models, there's a little button in the back, but with these higher end models, it's not. So I'm so glad you showed that. I'm just going to take a snippet of that and post it.
Perfect. It is really easy. It's just about knowing what button to press.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we can see you great now. So back to you. And again, we are live in the chat. So leave your comments and questions. Even if you're watching the replay, we love to hear from you.
Perfect. So I have my O-foot set on the machine already and made sure it's nice and tight. And I'm just going to position the first flower that I want to stitch underneath the foot. When you're first starting, I definitely recommend grabbing that top thread, drop your needle down, and then bring it back up to pull up the bobbin thread. You might be able to see a tiny little bobbin thread came up there. I'm going to pull it up, and that'll help get your free motion stitches going. So I am using the speed controller on my machine, so no presser foot, foot pedal. All these years later, I get those two terms confused. No foot pedal. I'm just using the speed controller on my machine and the start-stop button. And this is going to stitch continuously. So I just have to move my fabric as smoothly as I can around the edges of my flowers. And then I like to go in the center of the flowers too to make some decorative stitches and kind of make them pop out. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch, and I'm going to be in full concentration mode. So I might go quiet for a second.
We'll be in full concentration mode watching you.
Okay, perfect.
Well, you're doing a great job getting on the edge there.
Thank you. See, the stabilizer really, really helps, and gluing it in place really helps because I don't have to worry about the fabric moving right now. I just have to worry about where my needle is going.
I don't think if you didn't have stabilizer on there, I don't think you'd be able to do that. It would be all squishy, like a squishy mess.
Yeah,
perfect.
Definitely. And this is at a pretty low speed. This is like one above the slowest speed. So I take it nice and slow. It's a lot less stressful that way. And then if you're at a place you want to stop, just press the start stop button. I like to do a reinforced stitch. And my machine is set to automatically trim. And then I think I missed this little section up here, so I'm going to go back in. I'm going to start down here. Do a back stitch. Oh, and my thread did not pick up. So let's start that again. I'm going to hold my top thread. Drop the needle, raise the needle, and pull that bobbin thread up like that, and now we'll be good to go. And now my tail is in the way.
That looks so good. I'm still amazed at the coloring on that fabric that you printed. I mean, it is so vibrant. It's unbelievable.
It is. I'm very happy with how it came out. All right, so I just defined some of the petals, did some stitching in the corners there, or sorry, in the centers. And I think that's looking pretty good. So let's move down to my bottom corner here. Now this one did go off the stabilizer a little bit. Let me see if I have a little scrap here. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to take a scrap of stabilizer that I have and add it. So I'm doing a small overlap of the two of them here and just laying this down. And again, that's going to help with all the stitching. And I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread. There it is. And because you can kind of see that it's getting a little wavy over here because I don't have this part, this little edge right here is not, it's not glued down to the stabilizer. So you can see just from not having the adhesive how it affects it.
You know, that thread, as you're sewing on top of that fabric, when you're adding these extra stitches in the middle, it just gives it such great texture.
Yeah, I love adding a little dimension, and I think I would even take this a step further and add some different embroidery designs on top of some of these and just keep going with the whole collage idea and make it really like a multimedia project kind of.
Definitely.
For those of you who don't do free motion a lot, I think my top tip for anyone who's like curious about it, wants to try but might be a little scared, don't let the machine sense your fear. It can sense your fear. So just be calm about it, go slow, and don't, worry too much about getting the absolute perfect stitches, because no one's going to come up to your project and look at every single little stitch and be like, oh, this one is a little bit longer than the others. No, they're not going to know that. So just have fun with it is my main tip. And don't stress, don't fear.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I have to say, I'm watching so closely, but do you have fish on your fingernails?
I do.
Did you do that just for me? You made my day.
Aren't they cute?
I love that. I need that on my nails. I love that.
Oh gosh, I realized it last night. I was like, these might be a little distracting on camera, but
they look fabulous. I really like the fish though.
Thank you. All right, we have one more to do. And then let's talk about how we can close up the side seams of this shirt. So at this point, my whole shirt is kind of hanging off the back and it's dragging the project down and making it a little more difficult to stitch. If you have a support table, this would be a really good time to use it, so the project is not kind of weighing down when you're stitching in the bottom corner.
That's a good tip. Speaking of tray tables or extension tables, if you missed it, the new Celeste comes with a huge extension table that hooks onto the machine, or take it off, whichever one you want to do. It doesn't have to stay there, but it's a huge area if you're doing something like this or a quilt, or, you know, when you have that extra table around your machine, it just stabilizes everything when you're sewing.
Yeah, those are great. The Celeste is definitely great for all the sewers out there. All right. Let's bring it back to the table so you guys can get a closer look at how these came out.
All right, well, I'll wait until she gets back to the table and I'll bring her back up again. Drop your questions and comments in the chat and we'll try to answer them if we can. All right, Sarah, back to you.
Yes. All right, so I have some threads to snip here. That one looks pretty cute. Happy with that. I like this one down in the corner that I did. Should I tighten up a little? There we go. And then my big bunch over here. I just kind of go with whatever shapes I'm seeing on the fabric. Gives it some nice definition.
That looks so good.
This is a fun one. I'm going to hold it up here too, so you can get the full effect.
I love that. I would have a hard time. If I started that, I would sit here and go, oh, can I do a little bit more? Can I do a little bit more? My whole thing would be covered with flowers by the time I was done.
Right. You wouldn't be able to see any t-shirt. No, it's really fun.
So good.
And again, yeah, this is cotton. So I'm going to give this a good wash. It's going to get softer the more we wear it. And so now let's talk about how to close up the side seams. So
Perfect.
a lot of brother machines have an overcast stitch and an overcast foot. So this is the G foot. There she is. And trying to not get the glare. There we go. And this definitely comes with the Luminaire. It comes with a few other machines too. And what it does is it creates an overcast stitch. So without even, you don't need a serger. I think it's a little bit better than just doing a zigzag stitch. You could do a zigzag stitch to close up this seam, but I definitely prefer an overcast stitch. And yeah, I just love that you don't need an extra machine to do it, that there is an overcast stitch built into your machine, and then the G foot, which allows you to complete that stitch. So should I do a little test stitch here?
Oh, yeah. Because anybody who has never tried this before, it is a great way to finish the seams, and everybody loves to watch.
So I'm going to attach this to my ankle and get it onto the machine here. So the stitch number is, I'm going to turn off my free motion on the machine. I'll switch the camera.
I was going to say, can I have you switch cameras? And also, if you have questions on this, drop it in the chat. Have you ever tried this stitch before? Because I think a lot of people forget it's there. And especially if you don't have a serger, but even if you do have a serger, sometimes you just want to quickly finish a seam. This is so fast and easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going back into my settings. I showed you guys how to turn on free motion. You're just going to press that same button to turn it off. And then I am in utility stitches, and on the Luminaire, utility stitch category 1, it's stitch 18 is the overcast stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and try it out on this little scrap that I have here. I can show it to you guys on the screen too if you think that's better, but I'm going to stitch a real sample here. You'll be able to see the actual stitch.
That's so quiet.
Yes.
So Sarah, while you're sewing that, just a quick question. Did you change the stitch length or the stitch width at all, or are you just using the standard stitch?
No, I'm just using the standard, and I'm trying my best to like hold it without blocking your guys' view.
It's always live. It's called yoga sewing.
Yes, exactly. So let me try again, because it's like I'm not positioning it properly because my hand needs to be here. But yes, I used the standard stitch. So the width, I didn't change anything. Width, length, nothing. So there's a little bar on the presser foot that the stitches kind of go over. Okay, I got one good section. Here we go. So this section right here came out real nice, and because of my yoga sewing. So when I'm able to have my hands on the machine, it's going to be great. So you can see this is, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark, but this is the stitching on my t-shirt. And this is
great.
Yeah, and this is the stitching that we kind of got from the G foot. So very similar stitch, and a great way to sew up your knit clothing and finish seams. And I've used it before when I've taken a cuff off of a sweatshirt, And so that I could open the sweatshirt and do a little stitch, you know, right at the bottom of the sleeve. And then I just use the G-foot to reattach it. So it's super stretchy is my point. It's a great stitch.
It is a great stitch. So again, if you've tried this before, leave a comment. If you've never tried it and you only resort to the serger, or you don't have a serger and you're kind of a little afraid of finishing seams, this makes it super, super simple. There's so many feet that can come with our machine, that come with a lot of the machines. And then there's even more feet with the Celeste.
So many feet. So yeah,
what a great project.
Yeah, super fun. So I'm just going to trim away all the stabilizer on the back, close up the seams, and we'll be good to go on this. I think I'm going to gift this one to my mom. I think she'll like it. And
nice.
Yeah, I could do an upcycling project every day. So I hope I get to do some more with you guys.
I love that. Well, we're going to have to request it because we love it. And also, it's so simple to do. Just a quick question on that cotton fabric that you were using as the applique, basically, you know, like an applique. Yeah. Will that fray at all, do you think?
I don't think so. Let's see.
It looks pretty solid. I mean, once you wash it, it might fray a little bit around the stitching, but it'll kind of make it look really cool is what I was thinking. If it kind of curls a little bit.
I think it'll soften up a little bit around the edges, but I don't think it will fray to the point of us having to like finish every edge of the fabric.
Right.
Yeah. I think it'll
sure look good.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, well, we can't see you wearing it because you're giving it to your mom. You know, it's funny. Every time we do so many projects with brother, with classes and things like that. Everybody's always like, you must have a ton of samples. I'm like, no, my whole family does. I'm just like you. I just give them away to friends, give them away. I don't need any more zippered bags.
Yeah, or they go in the sample stash and they come out at shows. But yeah, because if we wear them, we risk staining it or something.
That is so true. So don't forget, there's the hashtag Brother Sews. And I will bring up all of our websites here. You've got Brother Sews, SAVNYC. That is Sarah's website. Be sure to visit her. And mine is angelawolf.com. And we love it that you're here. Let us know if you love this project. And always let us know if there's something you want to see. And we'll try to add it to a future show. So, Sarah, high five to this one.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yay. I love it. All right. If y'all want another great project, on Thursday, we've got Laura Pfeiffer, if my memory serves me correctly. And we will see you then. Until next time, Sarah. Come up with another great refashion project for next month.
I will.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Attach the embroidery frame in the initial sewing position.